students, hope you are well. In the last two classes, we learned how to change species of assertive sentences, imperative sentences, and interrogative sentences. Today, we will learn about optative sentences and exclamatory sentences, and we will also learn about passage narration. So, let us start with optative sentence. Optative sentence. The man said to me, "May Allah bless you." You see, the reported speech is "May Allah bless you." It starts with "may," so it's an optative sentence. If you see "may" starting any sentences, then you can easily understand that this is optative sentence. In case of optative sentences, how we will change the reporting verb "said to." If the reported speech is optative sentence, then we will change the reporting verb "said to" with "prayed" or "wished." So, here we see that Allah, so we can write "prayed" here instead of "said to." The man prayed that. Here you also see that after "prayed," after the verb "prayed," I haven't written anything like write optative sentence, write assertive sentence, interrogative sentence, okay, or imperative sentence. After "prayed," you should write the conjunction. You shouldn't write anything, any object here. Then what should you do? You should make this optative sentence into assertive sentence. As you are making it assertive sentence, so what should you write at first? Here the subject is Allah. So, you should at first write the subject Allah. Then you see here the verb "may." Then you should also change it. It will be as the reporting verb is past form. So, you should write it "might." Allah might. Then you should write the verb "place." Then you should change the pronoun. Here the pronoun is "you." As the pronoun is "you," so it will be changed according to the object of the reporting verb. Here the object is "me," so it will be changed. The man prayed that Allah might bless me. Now, I will discuss exclamatory sentence. The man said to me, "What a beautiful scene it is." The man said to me, "What a beautiful scene it is." Are you confused what type of sentence it is? I think you should not be confused at all, because you see here at the end, this is exclamation sign. So, it is an exclamatory sentence. You can understand it very easily. So, how to change speeches if the reported speech is exclamatory sentence. If the reported speech is exclamatory sentence, then you should change the reporting verb said to with exclaimed with joy, exclaimed with sorrow, exclaimed with grief, exclaimed with wonder, etc. So, what a beautiful scene it is. We are talking about a beautiful scene. So, it should be exclaimed with joy. And you also know that in case of exclamatory sentence, you should make it assertive sentence also. So, let us write the man exclaimed with joy that, then you should write down the subject. In this sentence, what is the subject here? We see here that the subject is it. So, you should write down it. Then, what is the verb? Is. It will become was, because the reporting verb is in the past tense. It was a. Then, instead of word, you should write down very. It was a very beautiful scene. So, what stands? The man exclaimed with joy that it was a very beautiful scene. Let's see another sentence. The man said, "What a fool I am." The man said, "What a fool I am." You see here, what does it mean? Is the man is very sad? Certainly, the man is very sad. So, instead of said, what should you write down? Exclaimed with sorrow. The man exclaimed with sorrow that, then you should write down after the conjunction that you should write down the subject. Here the subject is first person I, so it should be changed according to the subject of the reporting verb. Here the subject is the man, so you should write down he. He, and then the verb here is am, it should be changed. He was a. Then word, what should you write down here? Earlier we wrote down instead of word very, but in this case will you write down very? No. In this case we will write down great. Why we will write down great? Because fool here is noun. When there will be noun in exclamatory sentence, then you should write down great instead of what. Here we wrote down very instead of what, and because there was adjective beautiful, and here we are writing great instead of word because there is a noun. So, the man exclaimed with sorrow that he was a great fool. Let us see how to change from direct to indirect in case of passage narration. Suppose if it is written like this, will you go to the theater with me. I asked the boy. Will you go to the theater with me? I asked the boy. You will find this type of sentences in passage narration. How this sentence has been written, you see that here we see the reporting speech at the end. So, what should you do here? If the reporting speech is at the end, then you should write down that at the beginning of the sentence. So, I am writing here at the beginning. I asked the boy, here the reporting verb is also changed in indirect speech, that is asked, given here. So, you can write down here asked. I asked the boy. Then you see, will you go to the theater with me? Can you answer this with yes or no? You can answer this with yes or no. So, what should you write down? We learned that we should write down in that case if. I asked the boy if. Then what should you do? You will make the interrogative sentence into assertive sentence. So, you should write down here, you should change you. I asked the boy if, and there is verb will. We know that if the reporting verb is in the past tense, then it will also change into corresponding past tense. So, it should be would. I asked the boy if you go to the theater with me. So, what have we find? Let us see. Will you go to the theater with me? I asked the boy. We have found here that I asked the boy if he would go to the theater with me. This type of sentence, you will find this type of sentence in passage narration. Then I am also writing another type of sentence. You look a little bit like my mother, Jerry said to the authorities, especially in the dark by the fire. Look at this sentence again. You look a little bit like my mother, Jerry said to the authorities, especially in the dark by the fire. What we see in this sentence, you notice here, in detached sentences, we saw that the reporting speech was at the beginning. Earlier sentence, we saw that the reporting speech was at the end, but here we see the reporting speech is in the middle. Jerry said to the authorities. Then what you will do here? You will write it at first. I also said it earlier. Then what should you write down here? As you see that this sentence, you look a little bit like my mother. This is a statement or assertive sentence. So instead of said to, you should write down told. So at first we write down these: Jerry told the authoress that you. Whom does it refer? It refers the authoress, that is feminine. So you should be she. Jerry told the authoress that she looked a little bit like his mother. Then you also see here that especially in the dark by the fire, this is a phrase, and you should add this phrase with this sentence. So you can write down this sentence with this sentence. Especially in the dark by the fire. So let's see what we have found here. Our main sentence was, you look a little bit like my mother. Jerry said to the authoress, especially in the dark by the fire. Jerry told the authoress that she looked a little bit like his mother, especially in the dark by the fire. Dear students, if we see sir in the passage narration, then how we will change it? Let's see. The student said to the teacher, "Sir, I will never talk in the class." The student said to the teacher, "Sir, I will never talk in the class." You will find this type of sentences in passage narration. Then how you will change it? If you see sir, then you should write down here respectfully after the subject. So you should write down the student respectfully then what will you write down instead of said to here? You see here that the reported speech is in the assertive sentence, so you will write down told. The student respectfully told the teacher that. Then you should change the person. Here subject is first person, so it will change according to the subject of the reporting verb, he. Then we also know that if the reporting verb is in the past tense, will become would. He would never talk in the class. I also hope that you will practice it at home. Dear students, now I am giving you some homework, that is, change the speech of the following. Shabab said to Tasin, "Did you visit Shad Gambuz Mosque?" "No, I didn't," said Tasin. "I was there last week. How beautiful the mosque is," said Shabab. "Let's go there next year," Tasin said. You can also see this class in Kishore Batayon.